Welcome to another short podcast. Today we're discussing AI and social housing. In particular, how embracing AI within a controlled environment can build confidence in the sector. With rules and regulations playing a crucial role, how can social housing providers ensure the ethical and responsible use of AI, particularly regarding data, governance and tenant trust? I'm Stuart, and as always, I'm joined by Shaw Consulting MD, Chris Shaw. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Stuart. Good to be here.
So, Chris, first question. AI brings huge potential, but without clear governance, risks clearly increase. What regulations should be in place to ensure that AI is used responsibly in social housing, and how can providers stay compliant while still benefiting from AI-driven efficiencies?
Great question, Stuart. To ensure AI is used responsibly, really need robust regulations focusing on data governance, bias mitigation, transparency, and ensuring we've got regular audits. Providers should establish clear policies for data collection and usage to protect tenant privacy and ensure the integrity of their data. And by implementing these measures, it will help to identify and mitigate bias in AI algorithms and crucially, promote fairness. I think it's important to ensure transparency in AI decision-making processes and holding providers accountable for the outcomes. So regular audits will help to ensure compliance with ethical standards and regulations. And I think crucially, providers need to stay compliant by investing in staff training on AI ethics and compliance and collaborating with AI specialists who can help them to continuously monitor the AI systems for performance and compliance. If we do all that well, I think we can really help to harness the power of AI and make sure that we're safeguarding it against the risks.
It's certainly complex, isn't it, Chris? And it does present its challenges, but equally, I think you've touched on that, the benefits that it could bring. So AI relies on vast amounts of data, but how can social housing providers ensure they manage it securely? What steps need to be taken to maintain data integrity and protect tenant privacy and comply with GDPR regulations?
Yeah, I mean, security is a big concern. It's essential. Housing providers should implement robust data encryption, access controls, do these regular security audits to protect the integrity of the data. I think also is emerging is that whereas AI currently uses publicly available large language models, the emergence of private large language models are becoming more available. So you can create your own knowledge base and you can have the AI only interacting with that large language model that's your own. And I think that will grow in use because then it's ensuring that that data isn't getting out into the public domain and you're controlling security properly and effectively.
So it's remaining within the organization rather than going out to the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's it. And I think there might be a blended environment in the future as well, where there's some key data that's held privately, but there might be some public data that's blended together to give some rounded service views and value.
Yeah, I guess some of that outside data is critical to improving how you run services anyway, and associations will want to tap into that. Okay, so AI decisions are only as good as the data they're trained on. How can they prevent bias in AI models? What ethical considerations should social housing providers factor into it to ensure that fairness in AI-driven decision making?
I think preventing bias in AI models, it starts with using that diverse and representative data set. We need to make sure that we're regularly reviewing and updating these data sets to avoid getting to a position where we've got outdated data and biased information. Ethical considerations will need to include ensuring transparency in how AI decisions are made, and will need to involve a diverse range of stakeholders in the development of the processes. And then you need to ensure that we're continuously monitoring the AI outputs for fairness. It's not something that you put in and forget. It's something that you've got to love and nurture along the way. And, we've got to make sure there's some clear guidelines for using this in an ethical way.
So, as you say, it's not just input and go away. This is an ongoing job, a continuous process.
Mhm.
So AI adoption faces resistance due to fear of the unknown. I think we've all felt that nervousness around it when we see some of the stories and read some of the probably quite outlandish scenarios. So what strategies can social housing organisations use to give confidence in AI, and how can transparency and clear communication play a role in driving acceptance?
I think it comes down to building some clear communication and transparency. If we need to get confidence in our AI, we need to build that up. Housing organizations need to educate their tenants and their staff about the AI benefits and what the limitations are. That will help to address some of the concerns that people have. Demonstrating how AI can improve services and enhance that tenant experience will help to build trust. And making sure that there's regular updates and open channels for feedback are also going to be important to maintain that transparency and foster acceptance of these new tools. Social housing are going to need to use these because the private sector are going to be using them on a regular basis. So it's not that the residents are not going to be using these outside of social housing, they are going to be.
Okay, Chris, that's very interesting. So, just final question. What does a social housing provider need in place before implementing AI? What cultural, technological, and strategic changes should be prioritized to ensure AI is integrated effectively and responsibly?
I think before you go into implementing AI, the housing providers need to have a clear AI strategy that aligns, with their goals. You need a culture of fostering an experimental mindset and encouraging innovation within the organization. Technologically, you've got to ensure that you're investing in the right infrastructure. You need to ensure that you've got data security in place. And I guess strategically, providers should prioritize training of staff, making sure that they understand the ethical guidelines, that you've got the systems in place to ensure that you're setting up continuous monitoring and evaluation of those processes that you're building out in the AI systems. That'll help to ensure that you're using it responsibly and effectively.
Okay, well, thanks very much for that, Chris. Again, some great insights. So that's all for today's discussion on AI and social housing. As the sector continues its digital transformation, we'll be no doubt ensuring AI is used in a controlled, ethical, and regulated manner, while at the same time trying to unlock its full potential. So if you'd like to learn more, contact Chris on LinkedIn. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to catching up on the next podcast. Thank you.